Welcome to another episode on Horror Fan TV. Hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Music by Final Girl Synth. Let's get started. The Whaley House, known as the most haunted place in America for multiple decades, is located in San Diego, California. This Whaley family was struck with tragic deaths. With the past still haunting this place, it has attracted visitors and eager paranormal explorers from all over the world. Infamous horse thief Yankee Jim Robinson was publicly executed on the grounds before the house was built. The newly arrived Thomas Whaley was not bothered by the history of the area and continued to build his dream home. The first tragedy that would struck the Whaley family home would be the death of their 18-month-old son, Thomas, who died from scarlet fever.
Today is National Paranormal Day. Ooh, believe it or not, San Diego is a notable hotspot for paranormal activity, including the movie Paranormal Activity, which was filmed at a house in Rancho Penasquito.
And we have a handful of popular haunts, including what is considered one of the most haunted houses in the country, the Whaley House. And joining us now to talk about all things ghostly at the Whaley House is Operations and Property Manager Victor Santana. Thank you for coming in.
Of course. So the Whaley House was built in 1857 by a man that came from New York named Thomas Whaley. The house itself was meant to be a residence, though at some point it was San Diego's second courthouse, San Diego's first commercial theater, and one of the first stores in the area. But the main reason people remember it is because of what happened before the house was built. In 1852, they used to execute criminals on the property, and that's where some of the ghost stories begin and have continued on ever since.
You know, you've been there 23 years, I think you were telling us. Have you personally experienced anything paranormal at the Whaley House?
I've been around when other people experience them, but one of the coolest things that I've seen, we were filming for the TV show Ghost Adventures, very popular ghost hunting show, and as we were in one of the rooms, the theater itself, the gentleman felt something scratch his back. I was standing right behind him, it wasn't me. And then he lifted his shirt, and sure enough, you could see scratch marks in the back. When you saw the television show afterwards, you could actually see streaks of light go down his back, which meant that there was something or someone in that particular area.
But nothing for you personally.
I've been around when guests do it, when other employees see it, but not me personally.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the equipment that you brought with
I
you.
did room-by-room tours of the whole house. That's when we go a little bit more into the ghost stories of the museum. And then last but not least, the most popular tool we have is the paranormal investigation experience, which is where guests can come in and utilize these pieces of equipment to go into the museum and ghost hunt.
You know, you talked a little bit about how the place was used to, you know, as a place to hold prisoners and execute them and so on. But there are other stories that come out of the Whaley House as well, other deaths, notable deaths.
Absolutely. So the main ones are Thomas Whaley Jr. was one of the sons. He passed away at about 1.5 years of age of scarlet fever. And he's supposed to be one of the ghosts or spirits inside the house as well. The one that most people remember is the one of Violet Whaley. Violet was one of the daughters. She got married at a very young age. Shortly after the wedding, she finds out that the man she married was not who he said he was. Becomes very upset, depressed, tries to take her life, doesn't really succeed. She's kept under suicidal watch after that, and eventually got a hold of her father's pistol, goes into the outhouse, the bathroom, and shot herself in the chest. She's alive when she's found. She's brought into the house where she later passed away. When people walk around the house, many claim they might feel some sadness, even pressure on their chest, and they believe that could be the ghost of Violet Whaley.
Wow. You know what? So many stories that come out of there, but if you haven't gone, definitely, you know, people should go.
Francis Whaley, one of 6 children of Thomas Whaley, is responsible for restoration of the building. He would eventually turn the home into a tourist attraction, where he posted signs promoting its historicity. The Whaley House is still celebrated and recognized today because of Francis Whaley. The first and most well-known ghost that haunts the house and on the grounds was that of Yankee Jim Robinson, as he had died right on the spot where the home was built. As mentioned before, the grounds used to be a place where criminals were executed. The infamous criminal made eerie noises, loud footsteps, and left disembodied footprints, continually scaring Whaley family members throughout their lifetimes. The Whaley House opened one of the first general stores in the area. The store would eventually burn down in a fire. Once the house was renovated by Thomas Whaley, the general store would continue to operate. From 1857 to the early part of the 20th century, the Whaley House became the gathering place for the entire San Diego community. The Whaley House became the headquarters for one of the county courthouses, San Diego's first theater troupe, which was located in one of the rooms upstairs, and a general store. But in 1870, local merchants began to move to the newly established Newtown, which is now the Gaslamp Quarter, and abandoning the area. An area once very active became very quiet. The house would have very deep roots connected to the Whaley family. Over the years, many descendants of the Whaley family lived and died in the house, including Thomas, Anna, and their children Lillian, Thomas, Violet, and Francis. During its restoration periods, which took place several different times throughout the home's history, workers and visitors began to notice strange and mysterious sounds, sights, aromas, and encounters. Thomas, his wife Anna, and several other spirits have been felt inside the home and on the property. Many have claimed to seen Thomas dressed in his coat and top hat, standing at the top of the stairs. Other creepy aspects include lights turning on and off by themselves, footsteps by the stairwells, and crystals in the parlor room's lamp swinging without any reason. Eyewitnesses have reported seeing the apparition of a little girl in the dining room. It is believed to be the ghost of Annabelle Washburn, one of the Whaley children's friend. The supposed story is that Anna ran into a low-hanging clothesline, breaking her neck. She passed away in the dining room inside the Whaley house. Anna Whaley, often regarded as the most prevalent spirit in the house, is said to make her appearance known throughout the house. Visitors claim to smell the scent of her French perfume or to have seen her in the parlor. Her life is marked by the tragic loss of her 3 children and losing her husband in Thomas in 1890. Visitors often report smoke being blown in their face. People believe this is Thomas Whaley, a man who had a knack for smoking inside the house. Others report seeing a young woman walking on the 2nd floor of the house. People believe this is the presence of Violet. She seems to stay close to the 2nd floor where she spent much of her time after her divorce. Her presence supposedly can be felt as the room temperature begins to drop. Baby Thomas, who'd been the first in the family to pass away, is another ghost who is always heard in the house. Visitors and tourists claim they could hear tiny footsteps, the sounds of him crying, even laughing when no one was in sight. In 2007, San Diego State University anthropology professor Seth Malios and his team of students excavated a site on the Whaley House property. The site was located outside where criminals were once executed. With the support of the County of San Diego and Save Our Heritage organization, Malios led the way in uncovering more truths and more history on the Whaley family. From 2007-2011, the archaeological team recovered over 30,000 artifacts. The rich items would include intact bottles, displays of pottery, animal bones, architectural debris, and tools. In October 1868, one of the upstairs bedrooms was transformed into a theater. Thomas Whaley got the idea after he rented to the local theater troupe, the Tanner Troupe. For the troupe's opening night performance, the small room included a stage, a few benches, and up 150 guests. The operator of the theater, Thomas Tanner, passed away 17 days after opening. Was this a coincidence or the curse that haunted the Whaley house? Other ghosts felt in the house include Thomas's son George and his other daughter, Corinne Lillian Whaley. Supposedly a family dog, believed to be a terrier breed, can be heard throughout the house. Old Town was the first Spanish settlement in California. It is also the oldest neighborhood in San Diego. Old Town is also considered the birthplace of California. In 1769, Father Junipero Serra built the first of 21 missions next to the Presidio. which is a Spanish fort. This was on a hill overlooking the San Diego River. The missions became the foundation for California's colonization. A community began to form when Spanish soldiers began building living spaces below the hill in the 1820s. Maybe this is one of the reasons the Whaley House continues to have paranormal activities. The history of this place and the spirits of this place can still be felt in this area. Have you ever visited the Whaley House in San Diego? Please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe as we explore cemeteries and paranormal locations.